Augusta National hole 15, we know what happens when players have to lay up on that par 5. They've hit it behind the trees on the left-hand side. They can't go for the green, even though it's so appetizing. They're 220 or 30 yards away. They're forced to lay up, and they're forced to lay up on this downslope. And if the pin's cut on that left side, they've got very little effective green to work with. And the last place they want to hit it is where? In the water short. So there are accommodations that they're going to make to ensure that, number one, they make solid contact on this downslope, and number two, they have the ball speed and the spin required to allow for that ball to stop. And here they are. From a stance perspective, you're going to see a player take that ball position and move it effectively further back relative to where their feet are standing. So if their normal lob wedge position might be something like middle of stance, then they're going to make an accommodation back. Most important accommodation I want you to understand is they make an accommodation with pressure down the slope. So I've got 95% of my pressure on my lead side, and I check that based on the feeling of being able to lift my right foot off the ground, my back foot off the ground very, very easily. So as I get into my stance right here, then I get the impression that my pressure needs to stay on the lead side, and I need to feel like I'm swinging down the slope. Even though you might have the impression in your mind that you need to get the ball up in the air, we're not trying to stop it with trajectory. We're trying to stop it based on solid contact, number one, and number two, having an ample amount of spin. So clean the lob wedge face, pressure down the slope, feel like I'm swinging down the slope, and I try and create a little bit of a cut blow, which we'll see in the B-roll here in just a little bit. So just like that, I've made really solid contact. The ball has enough speed to carry the required yardage. Imagining that bunker right there is the bank falling back into the pond just short. And it's got an ample amount of spin, and I can tell that because I've left a lot of my Pro V1 cover right on the club face right there, all that white. And that's that friction that allows that ball to have a lot of grab to it. And you'll see players hitting it into 15 green have a lot of grab to their ball, and that's what allows them to stop it really quick, guarantee they're going to cover the water, and give themselves a realistic birdie opportunity. So when you're faced with these downhill lies, I want you to make those same accommodations. Remember, stance, pressure left, and it stays left through the swing. Ball slightly modified back in your stance, so you're catching it early in the arc because the ground back here is closer to you than what it ordinarily is. And then the impression that you're going to try and create a little bit of a cut movement and swing down the slope, keeping the pressure left, and you're sure to find more success in these downhill situations.